Welcome all. This is Aniket Uzarkar, Data Science and Business Analytics interns at the Stock Foundation. Let's begin with the task 2, prediction using unsupervised machine learning. We'll be using the IRIS dataset for the same. So the IRIS dataset consists basically the 5 main columns, I may say. The ID column does not make any sense. So the 5 columns are sepal length, sepal width, petal width, and most important, the species. Let's begin with the importing necessary libraries. We'll be importing matplotlib.pyplot to keep the track of things like current figure, plotting area, and plotting the functions. We'll be using pandas for data analysis purpose, numpy for mathematical analysis purpose. We'll be using the train test split method to train the dataset, or what we can say, to split the dataset into two parts, that is attributes and the label. We'll be using the standard scaler to standardize features by removing the mean and to scale the unit variance. We'll be using PCA that we'll discuss later on. So basically we'll start loading the dataset into variable df. So we have loaded the dataset here into df variable. Moving forward, df.info. So this command basically shows the concise information about the dataset columns, that is the constraints, the data types, and much more than that. Moving forward, df.species.unique, it basically tells us that there are 3 species in the dataset, namely Setosa, versicolor, and virginica. Going forward, df species.valuesCount, it counts the occurrence of each species in the dataset. So the output states that 50 Setosa species are present, 50 versicolor, and 50 virginica species are present in the dataset. Let's move forward to the arranging the data into feature matrix. So feature matrix is the term used in ML to describe the list of columns that contains the independent variable to be processed, including all the lines in the dataset. So we'll be using the data frame.loc attribute to access a particular cell in the given data frame using index and column labels. After arranging it into the feature matrix, it may look like this. Now moving forward towards the encoding the target with the values 0 and nth class -1. So what we are doing here is we are basically labeling the species in the form of 0, 1, and 2. As there are 3 species I have already told, so we'll be labeled into 0, 1, and 2. So we'll be using the class sklearn.processing label encoder for the same. So that's how it looks, that's how the species look after the labeling, that's 0, 1, and 2 basically. Going forward towards standardization of the data, so standardize feature by removing the mean and scaling to unit variance. So the standard score of a sample X can be calculated as Z is equals to XU by S, where U is mean of the training samples or 0 if the mean is false, and S is the standard deviation of the training samples, or 0 if standard is false. So moving forward, plotting the data to estimate the number of clusters, we will be using scatterplot for the same. So after plotting the data, the graph looks like this, but we can't readily differentiate how many clusters are there. So we have to find the optimum numbers of cluster. Moving forward, using k-means clustering algorithm for the same. So we are finding the numbers of clusters available. We'll be using the elbow method for the same. So this graph shows the elbow method to find the optimum number of clusters. It is called the elbow method. From the graph, the optimum numbers of clusters is where the elbow occurs. This is when within the cluster sum of squares, that is what we can say WCSS, doesn't decrease significantly with every iteration. So from the above map, or we can say the elbow method map, we can basically conclude that there are 3 clusters available or 3 clusters present. Moving forward, applying the k-means clustering. So these are basically the labels available, and these are the centroids arranged in the array. So centroids is the imaginary and the real location representing the center of the clusters. Every data is allocated to each of the clusters through reducing the clusters sum of square. So moving forward, visually evaluating the clusters. So after visually evaluating the cluster, we can ready classify the 3 clusters here: the green one, the blue one, and the red one. So this cross marks between the clusters are the centroids. Moving forward, visually evaluating the cluster and comparing the species. So now after comparing the clusters, they pretty much look similar. So looks like K-mean picked up the flower differences with only two features and not the label. The colors are different in the two graphs simply because K-means gives out the arbitrary cluster number and the iris dataset has an arbitrary number in the target column. That doesn't make any sense a bit. Moving forward to PCA projection in 2D. So what's PCA? It's the principal component analysis. Unsupervised technique, non-parametric statistical technique, primarily used for the dimensionality reduction in the machine learning. So high dimensionality high dimensionality models are the dataset that is having the large number of features. So basically what PCA does is it cuts short the dataset, or in the technical speaking, it filters the noisy datasets. Just I told the serial number of this dataset does not matter, it filters out the same. So after applying the 2D projection here, it shows the two component PCA. We can readily distinguish the clusters here: red for Setosa, green for versicolor, and blue for virginica. They are readily classified. Explained variance. The explained variance tells us how much information can be attributed to each of the principal component. This is important as while you can convert the 4-dimensional space to 2-dimensional space. That cuts short the dimensionality. You lose some of the variance when you do this, obviously. So PCA dot will we do this by using the PCA dot explained underscore variance underscore ratio. So what this does, this parameter returns a vector of the variance explained by each direction. So that's what ED of iris dataset is all about.